I noticed recently that I own much more clothes than I actually wear. At the end of the day, I wear maybe 35% of my entire wardrobe because there's stuff I bought based on vibes that I was hoping to wear but don't, stuff that I got tired of after wearing it a couple times, and a whole myriad of things that I hold on to thinking that I'm gonna wear them again, but if I looked at myself in the mirror and I asked myself, I wouldn't. But I don't want to do that anymore. I'm tired of contributing to the insane amount of clothing wastes that happens every year. I want to learn to value my clothes more, to move to a quality over quantity kind of wardrobe. But how do I do this? How do I accomplish this? Where do I start? For 1 month, I only wore clothes that I could fit in this drawer. So I can learn to value my clothing more by having less. Or something. So here's how we're gonna do it. For 1 month, I'm only allowed to wear the clothing that I can fit in this drawer. And it is not a very big drawer. Shirts, pants, shoes, jackets, underwear, undershirts, underjackets, undershoes, work clothes, workout clothes. It all has to fit in the drawer. So I have to pack the exact essentials. I gotta put clothing in that will work for multiple uses and occasions. My hope is that this is an opportunity to evaluate my relationship with clothing and start viewing clothing with more intentionality, with more value, with more love. So first, we gotta shove all the clothes in that tiny ass drawer. Closet time. It's time to pick out what pieces of clothing I'm gonna wear for the next month. Here we go, you ready? Closet vision. All right, let's take a look. First, we're starting with a work shirt because it is imperative that I go to work. It's Uniqlo. This is gonna be my second work shirt option, and it has my company's logo on it to make sure that they know that I'm a team player. It's March in Portland, which means it's raining, which means I'm probably gonna need some sort of rain shell. Patagonia, that's how you know I'm gonna stay dry. Now, I am a hoodie guy through and through. This is my polar hoodie that I like to wear pretty often. However, I am not sure if I'm gonna be able to fit it in because of the hood of the fabric, but we're gonna try. In the event that my hoodie doesn't fit, I'm gonna try to put in this black Champion crew neck. It's really solid, really durable, and should be able to go with a lot of different outfits. We're also gonna need sweatpants for scrubbing. It is imperative that I have some sort of basic wrapping over my body when I'm just chilling at home.
Speaking of chilling at home, we're gonna throw in the Adidas slides because I wear these bad boys around the house.
If possible, we're gonna try to fit in this Calvin Klein white undershirt so I can wear it under my work shirts. I'm not gonna raw dog the work shirts. For the working out category, I'm gonna put these Adidas running shorts in. Got the safety net holster to make sure everything's intact. In case it gets warm, I'm also gonna add these Patagonia baggies that also double as swim shorts. Moving over to my drawer, I'm also gonna grab this workout shirt. Breathable, light, airy. It's going in. Moving over to more casual shirts, I'm gonna go with the black Uniqlo Airism tee. Beautiful, comfortable. I got it in Tokyo, so that's how you know it's authentic. Then for the white shirts, we're gonna go for this guy. Top Man, I guess, basic white tee. I'm also gonna want some kind of graphic tee to give me a little bit of variance. This is a Brockhampton black tee I got from when the album The Family came out. Just wanted something a little bit more casual that's gonna give me a little bit of pop and color and style. And now some of the most important pieces, we're gonna go with the pants. We're gonna start with this Dickies pair of skateboarding pants. They're brown and they're also durable. Second pair is also a Dickies. It's more of a work pair of pants. It's got a charcoal color to give me a little bit more dynamics in the colors. They're not in the best shape, but that's what we're gonna have to work with for now. We're gonna go with 4 pairs of socks. We're gonna go with 9 pairs of underwear. And last and most importantly, we're gonna go with these Hokas for my pair of shoes. These Hokas are so freaking comfortable, and I think I could probably get away with wearing them at work, using them at the gym, and any other sort of casual occasion. Whew, look at that. So now that I had everything gathered up, I had to go into the packing phase, which was honestly pretty challenging. I got lucky with the shape of this drawer. I think it truly did give me enough space to work with, but also like not enough to feel comfortable with. I definitely had to make some choices, which were tough. Things like the shoes in the slides had to go in, and obviously the work shirts and the pants. But then when it came down to things like a hoodie versus a crew neck, like it was clear that I could not fit the hoodie in. I had to just go with the crew neck. Just the fabric from the hood was too much for the drawer to handle. And then as far as like the undershirt that I had for work goes, I couldn't fit that in either. I have to raw dog the work shirts now. And then what was kind of sad is I had to throw out a few pairs of underwear. Listen, I have enough pairs of underwear to wear, and obviously I'm going to do a little bit more laundry this month, but I only really had enough room for 7 pairs of underwear.
one for each day. So I'm fine. Okay, don't comment about my underwear usage. But yeah, this was tough. Even though I was able to fit it in the drawer, can I fit it into the actual drawer fixture?
If it fits, it ships. Okay, that's the rule. I can't believe that actually fit in there. Gotta be honest, I am a little winded because of how much I had to just cram this clothes in there like a suitcase. That was crazy. I'm glad all of this fit in here. Honestly, this feels like the bare essentials to keep me not bare. I think this is just the exact amount of things that I need to get by this month without looking like a psychopath. So yeah, I guess the only thing left to do now is to get out of this clothes because I gotta start wearing these clothes.
The fun thing about this drawer, I don't know if you caught it, is that it's actually from a cabinet fixture in my kitchen. The drawers in my current dresser don't actually like come out all the way. And this one happened to be the perfect size that I was looking for, so I just went with it. So that means anytime I need to get dressed, I gotta do that in the kitchen now. If my body's hungry for clothes, just hit the kitchen. All right, now that we got the drawer packed, I gotta start living my life. The first few days didn't feel super different. Obviously, the outfits I made were pretty fresh so far, so I wasn't really feeling a strain in that sense. One inconvenience was coming home from the gym. I'm pretty close to my gym, so I don't shower. And so the issue is I gotta get in my carpeted interiored car with my greasy, sweaty bod. Now, typically I would wear like a hoodie and a pair of sweatpants to protect my car seat from getting stinky. But this month I didn't have room for that sort of non-essential bonus clothing, which meant I had to throw a towel down on my car seat. Like I was out in the wild and I pooped my pants, and the only thing I could do to protect my car was just use this dirty towel I found in the trunk. It's not that serious of an issue. It's just kind of funny. But one convenience that I pretty quickly noticed is I don't have to think much about what I'm gonna wear. I don't even think too deeply about the outfits I usually put together, and still, it really annoys me when I'm like about to go to some occasion and I'm like standing in front of the closet for like 10 minutes doing a Sudoku puzzle of whether I wore this thing with that thing in front of that person and also that person. Because if I wear the same thing in a row twice, people are going to start getting worried for my health. I shower, okay? I do. I didn't experience any of that at all. Anytime I was going out, I was just like, boom, I'm wearing this. There were not really many options to choose between, so I wasted no time deciding. Yes, 5 minutes back into my day. And what am I going to do with that extra time? I mean, it might be worth noting that I'm not like the most style-minded person. I'm not sure if I've ever really had a good sense of how to build an outfit or how to curate style. The only reason why I feel like I'm decent at it now is because of my wife. But for a while now, I've really wanted to take ownership of my relationship with clothing in 3 ways. 1, I want to develop my own style a little bit more, which is a whole other video. 2, I want to be more sustainably and ethically conscious. And 3, I've also kind of want to develop a sort of capsule wardrobe. My thought process is, if I want to be more intentional about the clothing I buy, I want to contribute to a style that I want to develop instead of buying random crap. I don't want to contribute to fast fashion by buying a lot of crap. And most of all, if I really focus in on having a smaller, more higher quality wardrobe, I think these are going to be things that are going to last me a lot longer, especially if I care that much about it. If I have fewer pieces with higher quality and value. All 3 of these goals are a pretty long and ongoing journey, and listen, I'm just a dude. I'm new to this. So where do I even start? Where do I even begin on this journey? Well, I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I think I have to start with quality. I watched this great TED Talk on fast fashion, and the speaker spoke of the story between her and her grandmother that I really liked. In the 1950s, the speaker's grandmother bought this yellow dress that she kept for a long time because she loved it a lot. She loved this dress and took great care of it. And then decades later, in 2018, she passed it down to her granddaughter, the speaker. As the speaker points out, this dress has a story that's being passed down with a family. After hearing this, I had to ask myself a couple questions. 1, have I ever purchased a piece of clothing considering the responsibility of taking care of it with the hope of building a story with it over the course of decades? And 2, do I even own any pieces of clothing that I have that could stand the test of time that I could give to my grandson one day? The answer to both of these questions is no. I don't even know if most of us would think this way when buying clothes. Fast fashion has taught us, groomed us to treat clothing as disposable pieces of aesthetic, to throw away if it has a little tear or whenever something new and shiny comes out. I really don't want to see clothing that way anymore. I want to treat clothing like valuable, durable pieces that are not only an expression of myself, but serve the needs of my life. What I took away from this TED Talk is that the first step to not being a product of fast fashion is to retrain train our brains to treat clothing with more value and intentionality. And so I want to take a step in that direction by learning about quality. If I focus on quality, then hopefully I can train myself not to just be drawn to whatever looks nice or cool, even at the risk of it being horribly made, but to really consider deeply about these pieces of clothing that are gonna last, that are gonna stand the test of time. And if it's gonna stand the test of time, it's gotta be something that I'm willing to carry with me for that time. Hopefully not contributing to some fast trend, but something that's gonna be classic and lasting in the long run. So yeah, that's my starting point. And so now it's time to do some learning. Week 2 was going all right, but I was really starting to feel that I was wearing one of two outfits when I went into the office. And I was starting to wonder if my coworkers were noticing at all. Were they silently judging me for alternating the same two shirts over and over again because I don't care enough about my job to add a third shirt in the rotation? I don't know. I hoped they didn't think that. It's funny to me that we all have this subtle expectation that you need to have like a different outfit every day of the week for the next 3 months. Otherwise, you're like a psychopath. Where does that come from? SpongeBob SquarePants wears the same outfit every day, and is he ridiculed for wearing the same thing? No, he's iconic. He's known for it. It's in his name. But I get it. There is a valid concern about hygiene. Wearing the same thing 5 days in a row during the summer, that is a cause for concern. Being stinky is a punishable crime in most states. But it's like a known thing that Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day because 1, he dressed himself with clothes that made him feel good and like himself. And 2, it freed him up from the distraction of smaller choices so that he could focus. Honestly, I'm kind of vibing with that. I feel like I've been experiencing that fashion philosophy the past couple weeks. And for Jobs at least, consistency and minimalism was an important fashion goal. This is definitely making me think about like what my fashion goal is. Is it expression? Is it efficiency? Is it minimalism? Is it crime fighting? Clothing is such a unique cross-section between functional and expressive. And for the first time, I feel like I've really started to pay attention to that. It makes me wonder why Arnold wore the shirt kilt combo thing. Okay, so I've been wearing clothes for a while now. Haven't we all? I'd say I'm a pretty experienced clothing wearer by now, but I need to level up my game with knowledge. My understanding of clothing is pretty basic and optics based. Like, this shirt is bad, and that pair of pants looks cool. I don't know, man. I don't really know much about fabrics or build quality, but this is the point we start. We start now. I started watching a lot of YouTube videos as far as men's fashion goes. A couple that I really like are Frugal Aesthetic and Tim DeSaint as far as men's fashion goes. But interestingly, when I searched for videos about identifying clothing quality, I actually didn't find like that much, but I did come across a couple videos that already drastically expanded my understanding of clothing quality. The first is from this seamstress YouTuber named Bernadette Banner, which is like the most seamstress name I've ever heard of. She discusses two main areas in terms of clothing quality: construction and material content. Construction constitute how the garment is built. The stitching, the reinforcement, the structure that gives it the shape it needs to have. Then there's material content. It's kind of obvious, but what materials are they using? Are they using cotton? Are they using polyester? Are they using synthetic or natural fibers or plastics? This video really helped me build a framework of what I should look for, with good examples too. Similarly, I really liked this video from Tim DeSaint where he examines the quality of a garment from fast fashion all the way up to some luxury brands. This video was a really good reminder that a higher price tag does not always correlate with higher quality, especially when it comes to ultra high fashion. While yes, the cheapest of fast fashion brands really aren't going to be that high quality because they're cutting the most corners, the most expensive brands can also cut corners too. No brands are exempt from poor design, materials, and construction. But if you're shopping with the mid to higher tier brands, you're likely going to have more options for higher quality. In fact, the conclusion from Tim DeSaint's video is that even some of the mid tier fashion brands were pretty good. Again, there's still so much to learn in these areas, but these videos gave me a great start. I highly recommend checking out these videos if you want to start learning more. I'll link them in the description. I feel like these were a really great place to start. Week 3, I was starting to see my wardrobe differently now. I took the red pill of fashion, and now I'm looking at clothing going, oh my gosh, it's composed of this. Oh, look at the stitching on that. I'm still new to this, but the point is I really started looking at clothing differently. And I started to notice how bad some of the quality of my current garments were, specifically the Dickies. Listen, I used to think that Dickies were like this really tough, durable brand of clothing. Apparently not, man. Well, I can't speak for all of Dickies, but the 2 pairs of Dickies that I am using for this challenge, I have become much more disappointed in. In my loadout, I included these 2 pairs of Dickies, and I actually got these for Christmas. They were some Christmas pants, which was only like 6 months ago now. So I haven't had them for that long, and already I am noticing some really poor quality. Look at this. The brown skating pair I have has so many loose threads, and even more are popping up. I remember when I got this pair and I was looking at them with my pre-fashion red pill brain, and I noticed a bunch of threads hanging off the guy, and I thought, oh, I don't know, like maybe every new pair of clothing has some loose threads. No, that's a sign of fast fashion, okay? If they cared at all, they would snip or tie down those guys. That is a sign of cutting corners, not threads. As I've washed this pair, I'm noticing even more threads pop out over time, and I've had to snip quite a few off over the past year, which is pretty dumb. That shouldn't be happening. Even if this is the case, I mean, the pants still are functional. It's hard to tell right now whether these are gonna like wear down quicker than other pairs I have, but it is still a bit disappointing to see. Now, the other pair I have, honestly, these are in worse shape. These dudes are addicts because they were pilling like crazy, and this started happening within a few washes as well. I checked the tag to see if, you're not supposed to wash these or something. It still says you can wash them. I noticed there is a high polyester content in these, and I don't know, maybe I just should stop drying them altogether. I'm gonna try it and see if that works, but it is kind of a bummer of how quickly this happened. Look, on the inside, you got the dude with the hard hat like it's built Ford Tough or something. It's not, okay? It's not. So yeah, I'm actually pretty disappointed with these Dickies. Again, I don't know how long they're gonna last, but that work pair, they're really not looking good right now. Again, this may not be the case for all Dickies, but I'm glad I was able to spot this kind of shenanigans now. I ordered these online too, and this is definitely encouraging me to be in person to look and, again, interact with the quality of the clothing, seeing what I'm getting myself into. Anyways, Dickies aside, the weather in Portland was starting to warm up, so now I was able to bust my shorts out. Not bust out of my shorts, bust my shorts out. Got some of those shirt-short combos going. I definitely strategically planned this challenge that it would be in the springtime and not during the summertime. Otherwise, I'd probably be having to wash these guys like every other day. I'd be stinking pretty hard. During my venture of learning about clothing quality, I came across this really important economic concept referred to as boots theory, which was coined by fantasy author Terry Pratchett. It's a concept that tries to explain the socioeconomic unfairness of people in poverty and the sort of things they can afford. It goes like this. Imagine there are 2 pair of boots at the store. One is the cheap option, only costing $100, and will likely last you up to a year before you might have to replace them because they're not great quality. They're cheap. What do you expect? Think of them as the H&M shoes that are literally hanging off of a rack. Now, the other pair is the more expensive option at $250, but because of its high quality, it could last you 5 years or more. Naturally, the cheap option is what's marketed to people in poverty because it's affordable and you need boots. But in reality, this negatively affects the customer because if you draw out the scenario, the 5 years, they're probably gonna have to replace these boys 5 times, costing up to $500. Whereas the expensive pair, the higher quality pair, might not even need to be replaced. This phenomenon is everywhere, and unfortunately, it works. The cheaper option is always going to look better in the moment, but in the long run, it's actually going to cost you more because the quality is not meant to be sustainable. Whole industries thrive on this concept. Fast fashion, obviously, but even places that sell food like the Dollar Tree or Dollar General. There's this great video from Zachary Smeagol where he breaks down the options at the Dollar General and finds out that they're actually not cheaper than if you were to just pay $1 or $2 more and get them at the regular store. You get more bang for your buck, and it's likely not to be terrible garbage. These companies' business models prey on people in poverty by shortchanging them and making them buy more. So a lot of the time, the cheaper option is not always the cheaper option. The cheaper option is actually the option that is with more quality, that will last you longer. And I have seen this exact concept play out between 2 pairs of shorts that I own. Let me tell you a tale about 2 shorts. One is an Urban Outfitters brand pair of swim shorts that I bought at Urban Outfitters for about $30. The other is a pair of swim short baggies that I got at Patagonia for about $70. I've had the Patagonia shorts for about 10 years now, but a couple years back, I was going on a beach trip and I wanted to get some new swim shorts to kind of diversify my loadout. So I went to Urban because they tend to have safe options, and I found these guys. Now, when I was on this beach trip, I put both of these guys to the test. I already knew the Patagonia pair of shorts wore wonderful briefly, and in all the time that I've had them, really the only sign of wear and tear was that the color was fading a little bit, and the elastic definitely kind of stretched out. It still has a drawstring, so it's still usable. But then I wore the Urban shorts, and I was very disappointed. You see this section of fabric right here? Well, apparently the designers of these shorts must have never put them in water, because when these guys were in the water, this section of fabric filled up with water. This whole strip around the pair of shorts took on water, and then the fabric was so dense that it wouldn't drain out quickly. So I literally had to squeeze the water out of it. This is stupid. Why would I wear swim shorts that essentially functioned like a sponge? Then, on the same trip, I was wearing my Patagonia shorts. I was skateboarding, I was holding a growler of beer, obviously. And as I was skating, a person kind of stepped out quickly in front of me. I lost my balance, and I fell on my side. Obviously, I wanted to protect the beer, so I rolled onto this side, and I ended up scraping this side of my shorts. There was some pretty sizable holes on the side of my pocket where my phone scraped and made contact with the concrete. I was pretty bummed about this because I've had these guys for a long time, but that's when I remembered that Patagonia offers a free repair service for their clothing. So in the winter, I took these guys in, and a couple months later, they repaired it and added this sick little patch to it. And now it's totally functional. Can we take a step back and realize what just happened here? The cheap, more accessible fashion item I got from Urban Outfitters was dead on arrival. And I'm just gonna be real with you, I am not wearing that crap again. I'm sorry, but I've never worn it again because I know it fundamentally does not work. On the other hand, this expensive, higher quality pair of shorts that I got lasted me several years, was then damaged, then repaired for free by Patagonia, and then has lasted me another 2 years, still with no signs of needing to retire them. This right here is a garment. Say it with me, garment. A garment that I could pass to my grandson one day. What is he gonna want with his grandpa's swim shorts? I don't know, but I'll leave that up for him to decide. I've been thinking about this for a while now, that out of my entire wardrobe, these pair of shorts are of the highest quality and most sustainable out of any garment that I own. This is the kind of garment that I want in my wardrobe. Is it gonna last forever? I don't know, probably not, but it's doing a heck of a good job so far. And for being $70 over the course of 10 years, that's $7 a year. Serious props to Patagonia for being a brand that actually invests in taking care of their own clothing, especially when people just don't really have that sort of skill these days. If they didn't offer that, I don't know, I might have thrown these guys away. I don't know if Patagonia's outdoor style is always my style, but I'm definitely going to consider them a lot more now in terms of getting pieces that I know are going to last and that I know can be repaired. Moving forward, I want these pair of shorts to be the North Star of my wardrobe. All right, this is it. In the last week, I faced the final boss of my clothing journey. Using what I've learned about quality clothing and training myself to value clothing with more respect, the goated Gotagonia baggies will be the North Star of my wardrobe from here on out. That being said, I'm gonna purge my closet. Don't worry, I'm not just getting rid of stuff just to get rid of stuff. I've honestly been meaning to go through a lot of this stuff for a long time now. Like I mentioned earlier, there's just a lot of crap I'm holding on to, thinking I'm gonna wear it, and then I actually don't. The stuff I want in here are things that I actually will wear. And of course, the ones that I see to be with the utmost quality, like my baggies. So yeah, I'm gonna start going through all this crap and purging stuff. Well, while he does that, why don't we reflect a little bit about this whole challenge as a whole. I really enjoyed this experiment because I really wanted to focus in on something that I don't think about all that often. And so by doing something stupid and dramatic in removing so many of my clothing options, it really allowed me to kind of focus on it and think about it day by day. And obviously watching videos and doing research around this time really made me just kind of transform the way I looked at my clothing, which is really cool. And that was my goal, which was kind of inspired from this TED Talk that I saw, really just valuing my clothes more. And my first step towards that was looking at quality, knowing what I'm looking at, so that when I buy new clothing, you know, I'm not just buying some random thing that's gonna fall apart in a year, or I'm not just buying crap that I don't really see myself wearing again. Every time I consider buying a new garment, I really want to consider the value of this thing, how it's going to serve me, the quality of it, and if it's something that I'm willing to take care of in the long run. Really hard to say what's gonna be fashionable in several decades, but I don't know, like the fact that one of my pairs of pants could be interesting for my own son to wear, that's a cool thing. clothing. I think we always value clothing that our parents have and passed down to us because it's a sign of the fashion trends and they're worn in and they have that life and story woven into it. And now with just so much of this fast fashion mindset, I don't even know if we think about our clothing in a way that's gonna last that long. But this was a really cool opportunity for me to do that and to now think of that in mind, that these are garments that I want to live a story with, that I will pick up and look at and see all the just like the fun moments and stories and experiences that I've had wearing them. It's really funny. There's actually this other pair of like basketball shorts that I have, and they have this little nick in the fabric. And I remember exactly when I got that scratch. I was in Cambodia hopping over a concrete wall. Not gonna get into the specifics of that story, but I remember that that's exactly when that tear happened in my clothing. And it's so cool now when I wear that and I know that that's there. This is a garment that has lived life with me. And as I move forward, I really hope that I can start building a wardrobe that will start living life with me for a long time. So how are we doing over here? Guys, I think that's it. Yeah, I really just kind of narrowed down to the sorts of things that I wear, the things that I really care about, the things that I really just want to include for a long time moving forward. And yeah, honestly, I think this is a great start for me. All of these things I do wear. But yeah, I think I've done it. I've narrowed down my clothing. Thank you so much for joining me on this clothing journey. Thank you for putting on clothes with me. My name's Carrie the Snail, and yeah, that's about it.